In a world increasingly shaped by misinformation, deceit, and hidden agendas, the ability to distinguish truth from falsehood is not just a useful skill, it is an essential one. Our relationships, decisions, and even our peace of mind depend on our ability to see through the veil of dishonesty. Lies, after all, are not just distortions of facts, they are disruptions of trust, and trust is the foundation of all meaningful human connection. Yet, in a time when appearances are often crafted, and words can be manipulated to serve personal interests, how do we uncover the truth? The ancient Stoics, thinkers like Socrates, Aristotle, and Epictetus, offered timeless wisdom on how we can sharpen our minds, fortify our inner peace, and navigate the web of deceit that surrounds us. The Stoics taught that the path to wisdom and virtue is to focus on what we can control, and in the case of deception, we have the power to control our awareness, our responses, and our actions. In this article, we explore 7 signs that someone may be lying to you, seen through the lens of Stoic philosophy. These insights are not just about uncovering lies, but about strengthening your own mental and emotional resilience in the process. By learning these signs, you can safeguard your relationships, protect your energy, and live a more virtuous, mindful life. 1. Inconsistent body language. One of the most profound insights offered by the Stoics is the notion that true virtue is a harmonious alignment of mind and action. As Marcus Aurelius once stated, what does not benefit the hive, does not benefit the bee. A person who is truthful, according to Stoic thought, will naturally align their inner thoughts with their outward actions. This alignment is a reflection of their inner peace and integrity. But when someone lies, this harmony breaks down. Their body language will often betray them. Subconsciously, their internal tension, confusion, or guilt will be reflected in their physical posture, their gestures, and even in the smallest movements. The Stoics understood that the body is not merely a vessel, it is an extension of the soul's state. So when someone's words don't match their physical cues, like fidgeting, avoiding eye contact, or overly stiff body language, it's a clear sign of deceit. This discrepancy between words and actions is often a signal that a lie is being told, but it's important not to jump to conclusions hastily. Instead, the Stoic approach calls for mindful observation and patience. Rather than reacting emotionally, observe the contradictions in the body language without judgment, recognizing that not every subtle movement is a sign of dishonesty. The key is in your ability to stay calm, assess the situation, and understand that a peaceful mind is the best weapon against deceit. 2. Too much detail. One of the classic tactics used by someone who is lying is to add unnecessary detail in an attempt to sound convincing. Stoic philosophy places great value on simplicity and clarity. In fact, Socrates, perhaps the most renowned of all the ancient philosophers, emphasized that true knowledge is not about accumulating more facts, but about understanding the essentials. He believed that the best way to communicate is through simplicity, speaking clearly and directly, without excess. Lies, however, often require extra embellishments to appear credible. A person who is lying might provide elaborate details that seem unnecessary or even irrelevant to the core story. They do so in an attempt to make the lie appear more believable or to cover up gaps in their narrative. But true wisdom, as the Stoics taught, is found in restraint, in keeping things simple and to the point. When someone starts offering excessive, extraneous information, it's a red flag that they are trying too hard to convince you of something that isn't true. In moments like this, The Stoic response is not to react with suspicion or hostility, but to cultivate the clarity of mind to recognize these signs. Through focused discernment, you can choose not to be swept away by the tide of over-explanation. Instead, remain calm and centered, allowing the lie to unravel itself through the weight of unnecessary details. 3. Avoiding accountability. A core teaching of Stoic philosophy is personal responsibility. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic thinkers, famously said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." In essence, personal power comes from the ability to control one's desires, actions, and responses, not from avoiding responsibility or passing blame. When someone is lying, they often deflect accountability. They may avoid taking responsibility for their actions, offering excuses or blaming others for their mistakes. This lack of personal accountability is a red flag, signaling that the person is trying to escape the consequences of their falsehoods. The Stoic mindset teaches that we must own our actions, regardless of how uncomfortable or inconvenient the truth may be. The ability to face your shortcomings with courage and integrity is a sign of strength, not weakness. If you find yourself in a situation where someone is avoiding accountability, remember that you cannot control their actions, but you can control your own. Stay grounded in your own sense of integrity, and don't allow the evasion of responsibility to sway you from the truth. The Stoic path is one of personal responsibility, and by adhering to it, you remain anchored in what is right, even in the face of deceit. 4. Unnecessary defensiveness. One of the most telling signs of dishonesty is when someone becomes overly defensive. Instead of calmly explaining themselves or providing reasonable answers, they may react with aggression, hostility, or defensiveness, even when there is no clear reason to do so. The Stoics emphasized the importance of equanimity, maintaining inner peace regardless of external circumstances. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone is able to show me that I do not think or act correctly, I will gladly change. It's the truth that I'm after, and the truth never harmed anyone." When someone reacts defensively, it often signals that they are trying to protect a lie rather than confront the truth. Their emotional reaction reveals an inner conflict, a battle between the lie they're trying to protect and the truth they know deep down. Stoic wisdom teaches that the best way to handle such defensiveness is with composure. Don't match their emotional escalation, instead, remain calm and rational. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In these moments, your response is your true measure of strength. Keep your emotions in check, and don't allow the other person's defensiveness to pull you into the drama. Stay focused on what you can control, your own sense of peace and your commitment to truth. 5. Contradictions in their story. One of the most subtle yet powerful signs of lying is when someone's story doesn't add up. A lie, no matter how carefully crafted, is bound to contain inconsistencies. The Stoics taught that virtue lies in consistency, in aligning our words, actions, and beliefs with our deepest truths. A person who is truthful will naturally speak in a consistent and coherent manner. But a liar often gets tangled in their own web of deception, offering conflicting details or changing their story over time. These contradictions can be slight at first, but over time they become more apparent. The key is to pay attention to these inconsistencies, without judgment or immediate condemnation. In Stoic terms, this is about being aware of the natural contradictions that arise from dishonesty and using that awareness to navigate the situation calmly. When you spot contradictions, remember the Stoic principle of non-attachment. You don't need to be emotionally affected by the lies or discrepancies. Instead, observe them with detachment and clarity. This mindset allows you to assess the situation with objectivity and make decisions based on truth, rather than reacting to the emotional energy that dishonesty often generates. 6. Changes in speech patterns. Lying isn't just about what people say, it's also about how they say it. A truthful person will speak with confidence and clarity, but a liar often struggles to maintain a natural flow of speech. Stoic thinkers emphasize the power of thoughtful, deliberate speech. They believed that words should reflect our character, and our character should be rooted in truth. When someone is lying, their speech patterns may change. They might stutter, hesitate, or use fillers like or are in an attempt to buy time. They may also slow their speech, hoping to think of a convincing lie or to avoid being caught. These disruptions in their natural speech flow are signs that something is amiss. The Stoic approach here is to observe calmly, without making accusations or judgments. You can choose not to be swayed by the discomfort that arises when someone's speech becomes unnatural. By staying grounded in your own inner peace, you maintain control of the conversation, ensuring that it remains focused on clarity and truth. 7. Emotional overreaction. Finally, one of the most profound signs of lying is when someone reacts disproportionately to mild questioning or challenges. A truthful person, especially one who lives in accordance with Stoic principles, will not be easily disturbed by accusations or doubt. They will stand firm in their integrity, calmly providing answers without becoming overly emotional. In contrast, a liar may overreact, becoming defensive or angry even when the question or challenge is not particularly serious. This emotional escalation is a sign that the person is hiding something, a lie they are desperately trying to protect. The Stoic response here is one of detachment. Do not be swept away by their emotional reactions. Instead, maintain your composure, recognizing that their overreaction is often a sign of insecurity and guilt. The Stoic response to deception. When you recognize these signs, it's important to remember that the Stoic approach is never to act out of anger or frustration. The Stoics believed that our inner peace and clarity are sacred and that we must not allow external circumstances, including dishonesty, to disturb our tranquility. As Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." By practicing the Stoic virtue of self-control, you can maintain your integrity, protect your peace, and make decisions that reflect your highest values. In the face of deceit, remember, you cannot control the actions of others, but you can control your response. By doing so, you remain rooted in truth, no matter how much the world around you tries to pull you away. Are you ready to elevate your mindset and sharpen your ability to see through the fog of deceit? Subscribe to Beyond the Vision Mindset, where we dive deeper into timeless Stoic wisdom and practical strategies for living with purpose, clarity, and integrity. Don't let dishonesty cloud your path. Cultivate the strength to discern truth in all things. Subscribe today and take control of your mindset.